to this New Zealand Public Health and Disability Amendment Bill and to share the good news for Te Taitonga Health. In the quarter 3 results released today, it's so good I can't speak about it. In 4 of the government's 6 health targets, DHBs in the Te Taitonga Rohe were featuring in the top 4 results of performance. Great news. It's fantastic. In fact, there were some exceptional results for Southland DHB, which has improved access to elective surgery by 110%, and for Canterbury DHB by 109%. And in the area of increased immunisation, Otago, Southland and South Canterbury DHBs took up 1st, 2nd and 4th place in improving the targets for 2-year-olds to be fully immunised. Where the results are not, there is a bit of bad news though, I'm sorry, where the results are not as good in comparison to DHBs, other DHBs, was in the target better help for smokers to quit. Now, as you know, that's an area of considerable interest for the Māori Party, and I, for one, am going to be keeping a good eye on that one over this next quarter. Hopefully those DHBs will increase and pick up their performance in those measures. But with this bill today, such accountability and transparency will simply become par for the course. The Māori Party welcomes the initiatives in this bill to respond to the challenge of providing high-quality health care and disability support service. And I want to establish the context in which we read this bill from the outset. We read it in the context of the emphasis on Māori health and the principles of the Treaty of Waitangi expressed in the primary bill. And importantly, we see many of the initiatives specified within the bill as being closely aligned to whānau ora. Much of the thrust of this bill is about increasing efficiency by removing duplication between corporate and administration functions. In this way, it is a clear expression of a policy commitment we campaigned on, and that was to review the duplication of corporate and administration functions between hospitals, PHOs and DHBs, and whether there are any savings available if these duplications were removed. As the Minister himself would say, it's about working better, smarter and sooner. It is also about a system in which public services have to be monitored by reports against targets. The bill amends the objectives and functions of DHBs to ensure that they work together for the most effective and efficient delivery of health services to meet national, regional and local needs. In these 3 key points then, streamlining bureaucracy, monitoring against targets or more appropriately outcomes, and provider collaboration, there is a tight synergy with whānau ora. We absolutely believe that DHBs should work together for the more effective and efficient delivery of health services. But I want to make it quite clear that while the changes are positive, we don't believe it is necessary to legislate for such change. Collaboration to work more effectively and efficiently should be done naturally without being forced into it. As you all know, my colleague, Minister Tariana Turia, has been zooming around the rohe on these whānau ora hui of hers, and she's been sharing with us the amazing response that has accompanied the hui throughout the 3,500 people have attended those. It's amazing. There is so much interest in this approach, in the whānau ora approach. It's fantastic. An amazing response. But one of the most exciting aspects of those hui has been the willingness of providers to consider collaboration in the interests of a cohesive and comprehensive approach to whānau well-being. Another aspect of this bill is the structural changes to enhance quality improvement activity, including the establishment of a new Crown agent, the Health Quality and Safety Commission. One of the areas in the Māori Party health policy is the notion that the community must receive accurate information about the performance of hospitals, PHOs and DHBs, including the public reporting of adverse results. While we welcome the emphasis on quality improvement, we do have some questions about the structural change and would like to know the impact that setting up the Commission may have on the public service. How many jobs will be cut as a result? While talking about personnel, another initiative in this bill is to enable the appointment of elected DHB members to the boards of other DHBs. In Te Taitonga, for example, Tahu Pōtiki is a member of both the Southland and Otago DHBs, so in many respects this bill is reflecting current practice. This is a positive development and will certainly assist in reducing duplication. Our only question around extending this approach to the nation is that we must ensure that we elect the right people to the board in the first place. Finally, there is just one question that we would like to raise, and that is the concern about whether this legislation will give the Minister of Health a lot more power over DHBs. And if so, what controls are in place to ensure this power is used wisely and not abused? There is a great deal of change activity currently occurring within the health sector, and in most respects this legislation reflects the direction on investing in a system where outcomes matter, where whānau matter, a system in which whānau order becomes the norm. And just on that note, we're very pleased to note that it's one of the hui, the former Minister, Annette King, was present and her husband was present and is showing interest in the whānau order approach. So we support this bill at first reading.
I call Nikki